San Francisco, the jewel of California, known for its vibrant culture, breathtaking views, and progressive ideals. But in the fall of 1973, a shadow descended upon the city. It was a time of fear, a time of murder. Over a span of 6 months, a group of killers terrorized San Francisco. These men, part of a radicalized sect known as the Death Angels, left a trail of blood and tragedy in their wake. Their crimes became known as the Zebra Murders, a name derived from the police radio frequency used to investigate them. Among the many lives shattered was Frances Rose, a 31-year-old artist. On November 25, 1973, Frances was gunned down as she loaded her car with laundry. Her life, full of creativity and potential, was cut short by an act of pure hate. The killers would strike again and again. White men and women targeted in the streets, their only crime, the color of their skin. Another victim was San Francisco's own Art Agnos, a young housing commissioner who would later become the city's mayor. On December 13, 1973, Agnos was attending a meeting in the Potrero Hill neighborhood. As he left the gathering, 2 men approached and shot him twice in the back. Agnos survived, but the attack left an indelible mark on his life and career. We were dealing with a group unlike anything we'd seen before. They called themselves the Death Angels and believed they were on a mission to cleanse the world by killing white people.
The Zebra Killer has struck 18 times now on the streets of this city. His death toll stands at 12. Mayor Joseph Alioto describes the situation.
Now, one of the problems we're having every time you have a mindless thing without motive, and when the victims themselves are selected at random, the only situation being that they be white and that they be at or around certain communities in San Francisco, when that kind of a thing is there, you can't really investigate it as you would a regular murder. There's no way of doing it.
Alioto also had a message for the people of his city.
I think extraordinary situations like this call for extraordinary measures. Now, those extraordinary measures are going to involve stopping a number of people in San Francisco who fit a certain profile. In the very nature of things, we are going to be stopping a lot of innocent people. Everything that will be done within constitutional limitations, I assure you of that.
Police Commissioner Washington Garver appealed to members of his own race.
So I'm appealing to the members, the blacks of this city, that if they are stopped, not to resent it, but to show their identification and, if necessary, permit a search.
The Death Angels were an offshoot of the Nation of Islam, taking the organization's rhetoric to a violent extreme. Their beliefs were rooted in the idea that murdering blue-eyed devils would earn them spiritual rewards, even a place in heaven. The San Francisco Police Department was overwhelmed. Witnesses described attackers who seemed to vanish without a trace. The city was gripped with fear, and police tactics grew desperate. Officers began stopping and frisking black men, a move that sparked outrage and protests.
React. Does it keep you off the street at night? Are you worried about it?
Well, yeah, certainly I'm worried about it.
How do you think the police are doing? Are you in favor of their stop and search program?
Why, certainly I am.
I was staying at Santa Rosa, so I stayed clear, and I'm staying in tonight, that's for certain.
What do you think about the police's attitude of stop and searching the blacks? Do you
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, sure. I was still stopping the black.
Do you have any suggestion on what they can do?
Well, not really.
Have they stopped you?
Not yet.
Do you think they will?
Might be. Who knows? I'm black, you know.
I don't think it's a good policy. I think the police like this kind of action. I think the police want this kind of action so they can have an excuse.
In April 1974, after months of terror, police finally caught a break. A former member of the Death Angels, Anthony Harris, came forward with crucial information about the group's activities. Harris's testimony led to the arrest of 4 men who would later be convicted as the primary perpetrators of the Zebra murders. A 22-year-old former laborer, Green was described as quiet and reserved. Yet behind his unassuming demeanor was a man fully committed to the Death Angels' violent ideology. Witnesses identified Green as one of the gunmen in multiple attacks, including the murder of college student Ward Anderson on December 22, 1973. Jesse Lee Cooks. The oldest of the group at 29, Cooks was already a convicted felon before joining the Death Angels. Known for his erratic and violent behavior, Cooks was directly linked to the brutal murder of Keita Haig, whose throat was slashed in October 1973. Investigators believed Cooks was one of the group's most aggressive and unrepentant members. Manuel Moore. At 25, Moore was considered the group's logistical coordinator, often planning the attacks and driving the getaway vehicle. Harris's testimony placed Moore at the scene of numerous crimes, including the fatal shooting of Marietta DiGirolamo, who was killed while walking to her apartment on November 25, 1973. JCX Simon. A 29-year-old former convict, Simon was known for his charisma and influence within the group. Authorities believed he played a leadership role, encouraging younger members to carry out the murders as part of their initiation into the Death Angels. Simon was implicated in the murders of businessman Tana Smith and homeless man Vincent Woolen, among others. The defendants were convicted of multiple counts of murder and attempted murder, receiving life sentences. However, many believe the full extent of the Death Angels network was never uncovered. The Zebra murders remain one of the darkest chapters in San Francisco's history. They are a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of hate and extremism. We remember the lives lost and the lessons learned, hoping such horrors never repeat.